All right, welcome guys. This is going to be our first interview for Mentors Asia Pacific. Today we have special guests. This is our first guest, and just so happens that we have a fairly long relationship together. Fairly long relationship. So I've known Mr. Suarez for a while now. I think I was a math teacher for you.
You were my math teacher back in high school.
Back in high school,
yeah.
so George Washington. So we've known each other for a while. So we're going to talk a little today. Ed's come a long way from where he started at, and I know a little bit about his story, but we're gonna dive in and we're gonna see what's going on today. All right, Ed, let's share one thing that most people might not know about you. What do you, if you were to talk to some of your friends and I asked them something and you shared this right now, they'd all be surprised. What's that one thing that most people don't know about you?
That's kind of a tough question because for me, I'm an open book, right? I like being transparent with people, and I like building relationships off of the transparency. But I don't really keep too much of myself from the people I work with and associate myself with, because I feel like to work best, right, we have to be transparent. We have to be able to communicate ourselves effectively. So for me, like, my truth is literally everything that I tell everyone all the time. So yeah, I don't really hide anything. I don't really keep too much to myself. Well, people don't know I'm Filipino.
People don't know you're Filipino.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I did an Instagram story, and I was like, "Hey guys, surprise! I'm Filipino." And then I got a bunch of DMs like, "Yo, you look like Samoan, you look Palan, you look Chippies, you look a bunch of different races." And I was like, "Surprise!" And yeah, so it was a surprise for many people.
So how did that make you feel that people didn't peg you as Filipino, like on the dot or anything like that?
Well, I came here when I was 5 years old, from the Philippines, right? And I did not know any English, so I was like the most Filipino person that you would ever meet. In kindergarten, they had to find me a special teacher that spoke Tagalog, so they can kind of talk to me while I was going through the ESL program. So I was kind of like bullied for it a little bit. Like, people would be like, "Oh, you're fob. That's not like normal, and you're weird," right? So I was like, "Oh, that sucks." So until about 7 years old, I was that fob kid.
Okay.
And then I took it upon myself to be like, okay, I need to change something because this kind of sucks. I don't like feeling like this. So I had to change my voice and my accent to what it is now. And it's,
Okay.
yeah.
So we're talking a little about your story. So let's continue with that story. So talking about 7 years old, coming from the Philippines, learning English.
Yes.
So English is your second language.
It is.
So where are you today? What's your story now? How did you get to where you are?
Okay. So now I'm a managing partner slash producer slash creative over at Local Creative. So it's a company that we founded about a year ago. We just celebrated our birthday last weekend. And to get here to where I am, I had to go through a bunch of things, right? So I had to experience many different things. Starting off in high school, we would do video projects, right? So my English teacher, Miss Tovez, shout out to if you're watching this right now. Yeah, so Miss Tovez threw us a project. She gave us the option to do a video or something else. And I was like, yo, filmmaking. I was like always interested in, I was influenced by Guam Food Productions. I'm sure you're familiar with them. And I thought, hey, looks fun. I'm gonna try it out. So I did, and I fell in love with it. Like, it was such a great experience for me. And it was like a nice relief, right? Because school is always stressful, right? And for some reason, I found comfort in producing videos and writing scripts and just making stuff and creating. So that's where I got started. And from there, it kind of took a backseat because after graduation, college became a thing. And I'm Filipino, right? So Asian families, you know how they are. It's like, hey, you gotta be a nurse, you have to be a doctor, you have to make us proud, right? So that's my dad's voice. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna make you proud, Dad. I go to school, I'm gonna follow grandpa's footsteps, and get into business, and I'm gonna get a degree, right? So 2 years in, I was just like, bro, like, this is pretty boring. Like, I don't feel like I'm getting the most out of this thing, right? And in high school, I was like on point at school academics. That was my main focus, and it was a breeze. Like, I didn't even have to study for things. But then, like, when college came, was like, okay, gotta put a little bit more effort. And then I'm learning things that I felt wasn't really valuable to me and where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. So from there, I decided, I want to do something different. So I started doing a bunch of things, applying to different places that I thought would be a fit for my personality and where I wanted to be. So I started applying to like radio stations. Because from there I wanted to be like, hey, personality. I was always looking up to Cal Manifest. He's also one of my mentors, right? And so I applied to Power 98 for about 3 years. It took me 3 years to get in. It was crazy. And it was funny because when they finally read my application, they called me in, and then we did a whole walkthrough of the studio, and then he was talking to me about like the setup and what they usually do, and then we did a test in the production room, so that they tested my control or whatever. I did so bad. I was like so nervous, and I was like, hey guys, it's Ed. I'm gonna play music for you, and then Kyle was like, okay. He had his face, man. He had his look on his face, and I was kind of just like, I'm not getting this job. And then, so we got out of the studio, we went to the front, he was talking a little bit, and he was like, all right, well, how soon can you start? And I was like, bro, I got it, right? And then I was freaking out. It was crazy, because he was, I looked at him. So I got the job, started on radio, and I was a personality for about a year and a half, and I was called Chef Ed, which was...
Hey, what's up guys? Hoffaday, thank you for clicking on this video and checking it out. My name is Ed Suarez and
It's a weird name. But yeah, because it was like me cooking up jams, fresh jams for people. So I did that for about a year and a half. And then, again, I felt like, this is nice, this is fun. I feel like, I'm making people's days with my personality and what I do on air. But then I felt like a hunger. I was hungry again. I was hungry and I wanted more. So I started looking into real estate, and I also started blogging. So on my first blog that I produced, I talked about real estate because I did research on it, and what it would take for me to become a real estate agent. So from there, I walked the process, and then the sales manager at Sorensen for radio sales watched it, and he was like, "Hey, Ed, right?" And I was like, yeah, so this is Glenn Malone talking to me. He's like, hey, so I saw your video on YouTube and how you're interested in being a real estate agent. And I was like, yeah, it's just a thing, I'm doing something different on the side, and it's another way for me to make money. And he was like, well, I have a space on my radio sales team. And then I was like, yo, okay, that's cool. So a sales job, doing something that I already, around the field that I'm already in, and I'm also in love with, right? So I was like, okay, I want to hear more about this. So from there, we sat down, talked about the opportunity, and then I decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So I hopped into his team, and I was a radio sales account executive for about a year. And that was a whole nother experience. It opened up so many opportunities for me, right? I learned a ton of stuff. Like I learned how to, basic sales stuff, right? So like cold calling, consultation, finding out what a client's needs are, and then providing solutions for them. So I did that for about a year, and then again, hungry, right? So I was thinking like, I feel like there's going to be a shift in the market. This is where my mindset was back then. So this was about 2 years ago. So I was thinking, like, okay. So I feel like the marketing game is shifting because more and more people are on their phones all the time. Like you walk into a restaurant, and literally, you see a couple on a date on their phone. I don't know what they're doing. They're probably scrolling through Instagram, liking puppy videos or whatever.
Texting each other.
Yeah, texting each other. It's like, hey, how are you doing right now? Right? It's so crazy. And that's what I imagined just to make myself laugh. But yeah, so everyone's on their phone now. So it used to be where the closest point of sale was, would be radio, because you're in your car, you hear like a burger ad, and then you're like, I want a burger. So you drive straight to the place, and you're at a burger place. Now it's like you have your phone, and you see a burger ad, and you're like, damn. You literally just, you see, and it's everywhere all the time. So I realized like social media would be a nice good thing. And I made that suggestion to the company that I was with. You know, like they had different views, which was completely understandable, right? So I just decided like, hey, I'm gonna go and do this because I feel like there's a need for it. And so I branched off, started One Punch Media with my business partner, David Macapinlike, who also owns Mac at Guam. Okay. And we just ran with it, yo, for like 3 years, or 3 months. I wasn't paid or anything. I was literally just trying to get jobs to build our portfolio and really talk to people. So, you know, it was kind of hard because it was 100% pay cut. Like I wasn't paying myself at all. So from there, we landed a couple of gigs that gave us the opportunity to like put money into the bank and bring some other people on board. And then from there, everything just went like crazy, so crazy. And it's just been a blessing, and it's been really fun, I think. So that's pretty much how I got to where I am, right here in this chair with you.
That story is great, man. I don't know like how everybody expects stories to look like, but for the most part, you know, we make our stories, so we gotta just kind of put it together. So within that timeline that you just shared with me, from working for the radio station, trying to do sales, and then now One Punch Media, anywhere along that line, what was the most difficult moment that you had, and how did you kind of get over it, or what's the most trying time you had?
Yeah, so the most trying time for me was the transition between radio sales and doing what I do now, because it was a battle, right? Like what it was for me was I had to support my lifestyle. I had to do what I could to like support my family, help out a little bit. They were expecting me to go back to school, right? So I had to sit with my dad and tell him like, hey, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna do this thing. And then, you know, my dad, like this hardworking man who never sleeps, was staring at me and he was just like, you know, like if it's something you really want to do, like he was super iffy about it. And I just told him like, I feel like this is gonna be good. Give me 6 months to make something out of it, right? And then, you know, surprisingly, he was super down for it. And then the transition from quitting was definitely the hardest part because I was gonna take 100% pay cut. Like I had bills to pay. Right? So I was thinking about like, how am I gonna make it? Is it gonna flop in like the first like couple of weeks? Like it was such a scary experience, right? So with business, of course, it's always like a risk because you never know what's gonna happen. Like the people you work with might not be the type of people you like work well with, and then just trying to figure out that structure and really pushing through the fear of failure. Like that was definitely the hardest part because I was actually putting it off for a long time. Like we were supposed to start it like 6 months prior to me quitting. And I was just like, you know, I really, really want to do this, but this is what it's going to take for me to actually leave my job. So we would have to lock in this much before we start up, kind of thing. Right? And then like for 6 months, I was like, nah, yeah, but no, yeah, but no, yeah, but no. And then finally, just one day, I was just like, I want to jump in. I want to dive in because like it's now or never. If I don't do this, like I'm gonna feel like I missed out, and that's something that doesn't vibe well with me because like for me, opportunities just it's very they come and go, right? The window of opportunity closes as quick as it opens sometimes, and you don't want to miss that. So for me, taking that risk and the fear of failure was such a cluster F word in my head. So that was the biggest challenge. Yeah.
So let's go back to that idea of fear of failure.
Yeah.
So today I think that's magnified greater because of how everybody's connected and how social media for the most part is coined, or it's already kind of played out, it's produced.
Yeah.
So for the most part, a lot of people create a sense of success when they always post something on social media. So it's always the good times, or if they're traveling, then it's them being on the road. But you know, that fear of failure is always behind the camera, or sometimes it's behind what we see. So like how do you confront that fear of failure, or how do you portray that to people?
portray it through social media?
Well, not through social media. Well, you don't have to portray it on social media. Well, like how you carry yourself or how you tell your story. That idea, like right now, if we were talking to yourself, like that fear of failure, like how did you get over it?
Okay, so me telling myself to get over the fear of failure and quit being a little beat. So, like I said before, I'm very open. I'm an open book, right? So I like to be very transparent, even with like my Instagram followers, because I'm very active on that. I constantly project like positive vibes, but then some days when like things aren't good, I would be open about it. I would do a live stream and say, hey, this is real, this is life, this is what happens, but it's okay to like not be okay, and you just gotta plow through it, right? So I just to confront the fear of failure, I acknowledge it, right? And I say, hey, it's right there. What are we gonna do about it? Are we gonna crawl into a hole and die, or are we gonna continue to do what we're doing and hope for the best, right? And really fight for it. So I usually choose the latter, always, right? Because there's no other way to do it, and you gotta be, like for me, I like being a positive influence and, potentially inspiring at least one person. So yeah, just confronting it straight on, that's strong, and attacking it. That's my style.
Okay, so you just said something great. That's a good jumping off point for this. You're talking about influence.
Yeah.
And for me, anybody that's made their journey, there's always going to be 1, 2, 3 people that's influenced them or mentor them to go along the way.
Oh yeah. Sure.
And I don't think success is, a one-man job or one-woman job where we do anything on our own. So if you were to look back, who were or are still your mentors, and how do they inspire or motivate you?
Yeah, so starting off, dating back to like high school, one mentor for me that kind of helped me find my voice would definitely be Keisha Keisha.
Yep.
Yeah, so she was really heavy on the for Guam activist type of thing, and she was also very active in the poetry scene. So for me, that was such a great thing because I wrote a lot, but I didn't know what platform I could really express myself. So when the opportunity opened up, slam poetry was spoken word, and it was introduced to me, Keisha was the one. Like Miss BQ was the one that really pushed for it because she saw the potential in all of her students. So I was one of those students, and she helped me find my voice. I became more comfortable being the transparent guy that I am, communicating what I feel as effectively as possible, right? So definitely Miss BQ was number one. And then what commented that became one of my mentors post high school. He taught me the structure of how radio was, and it wasn't just like radio, the production or whatever. It was on such a deeper level. Like if you were to actually sit down and talk to comment, like you would get so much wisdom from this man. He has so much experience in his field, and I respect him. I have the most respect for him. He's an amazing guy. Yeah, and I always look back. I refer to him whenever I have like questions regarding production things. He's been in the game for a while. And then I guess like as far as mentors that aren't on, so my team and I, we really gravitate towards Gary Vaynerchuk's content. So Gary Vaynerchuk's a huge influence on art. He has a very headstrong approach on the whole social media thing, really just not giving a damn about what other people think, and just doing what you do. Right? So that's how we've been approaching everything, and it's working out pretty well. And then definitely my grandfather and my dad, they have a very big influence on me. Just seeing my dad not sleep, virtually not sleep, literally working probably 16 to 18 hours a day, right? And that's just such a big deal for me because I feel like I got that gene in my blood, right? I have that DNA where it's like work, because I've been implementing that in my current workflow. So, everything I do now is literally for my parents because they deserve it. They deserve the best they deserve the support. Like down the line when they get
course.
older and they
Yep.
can, support themselves. And I want to be there for them, and that's really what keeps me going. So yeah, that's pretty much it for influences.
Okay, so last thing. So let's date back. Let's think about 10 years ago. Let's go back. It's
10 years ago.
2008.
2008.
2008.
Oh,
And,
boy.
If you see yourself then, what 3 pieces of advice would you give yourself?
This is super funny. So I'm
Yeah.
23. 10 years ago, I was 13, 8th grade, getting promoted or graduating from middle school,
Yep.
right? So, this is horrible, but number one advice, don't fall in love. Don't fall in love, dude. Bro, you're 13. Don't fall in love. It's dumb. Listen to mom and dad, number 2, because they told you not to fall in love. And then, just experience as much as you can. Right? So I would tell myself, that there's a lot of opportunity. Don't shelter yourself. Don't stay in the classroom, because that's not really beneficial for your experience in high school. Like, really go out there, talk to people, and join clubs. Experience as much as you can, because it took me a while to find my niche and the stuff that I like, and it shouldn't have taken that long. I feel like there was a community that in school that provided that platform and really gave me would have given me the opportunity to really get into it earlier on. So yeah, don't fall in love, listen to mom and dad, and just experience everything. Pretty much just experience it.
Okay, so I lied a little. This is not in the cards, but we went back 10 years. Let's try something a little different. Okay, so
surprise.
let's jump 10 years forward. 10 years forward. So
10 years forward.
being an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
being somebody that wants to be an influencer, we always project. We always try to see where we're going to be 10 years later.
Yes.
So give me that picture. What is Ed Suarez doing in 2028?
In 2028. So I have this vision and dream, right? Even before One Punch was really even a concrete thing. What we wanted to do was have like a warehouse, right? This is it. It's a warehouse. We have a loft on the top. You have the workspace on the bottom. You have a conference room, alcohol room, and then just a bunch of creatives collaborating in one space, and giving. Yeah, so that's what I really want to do. I want to build that creative powerhouse, and I want to be a part of that process. I don't want to be at the top of it. I want to be a part of it. I want to build a community, a really strong creative community where people with no experience and want to just try it out can come and feel comfortable, right? Give them that opportunity, because for me, I never had that. And especially with Guam's community, we're so small, and there's so much competition that where it's kind of weird. I don't understand why the competition is the way it is. I feel like it should be a collaborative effort, and especially for the creative community, we should just all work together. And I want to slowly build towards that, because right now it is very collaborative, but I feel like there's more that can be done. So I want to be there.
I definitely want to see that space. I want to get there. So, guys, I want to thank Ed for coming on the show today. First episode, we're logging in. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that.
Thank you. All right, thank you guys. See you on the next episode. Stay tuned. Thanks guys for tuning into Mentor Asia Pacific. Once again, I'm Alvin Sanga. Check out all our social media that's going to be linked down below. Stay tuned, more mentors are to come. We're going to be releasing a mentor every week. And please leave a comment down below for any mentors that you'd like to be featured on the channel, any business professional, entrepreneur, or anybody that you believe is inspiring and can provide to be a mentor for the youth of Guam. Until next time, thank you very much. Sanga out.